So it's Thursday evening before the game against Roslyn Park. We're here with Shanners. Really appreciate your time. First question, obviously, is a lovely win against Bishop Stortford. Everything seemed to click. Have you got any sort of particular takeaways from that, and anything that didn't quite work, or any positives to take away?
Yeah, no, I'm really happy that Stortford's been a bit of a bogey team, really, for us. They've beaten us a few times at home. We always struggle up there. It's always very tight games, so I was expecting another tight game. Obviously, when they went 7-0 up, I was a bit like, for God's sake, here we go again. But then we kind of got into our groove. I felt then we pretty much dominated every area, which was nice and pleasing. We had that kind of blitz where we scored 3 or 4 tries by getting real good speed of ball, and that kind of half-time kind of killed the contest, so to speak. I was expecting probably them to come out a little bit harder in that second half, but we kind of played a real controlled, patient, kind of professional, kind of like kicked well, defended well, didn't really give them any chances to get back in the game, and didn't really let them try and play at any speed, which was good. And in the end, it was a convincing win, and so really pleasing. Good bounce back after the disappointment of Richmond, where I think we were physically up for it against Stortford, much better mentally and physically, and that's a big thing I spoke about, that it's not acceptable not to be physically and mentally up for a game. I can understand if there's skill errors at times, there's system errors at times, but there can't be a lack of effort, lack of work, lack of physicality, and those errors aren't acceptable at the club. Basically, so that was kind of read the right act, so to speak, and said to the boys, it's not baseball, you don't get free strikes. You've got one strike. If you underperform again, then there's changes to be made, because obviously the club 15 are going well. So the boys know that, and they know that this week they've got to step up again. Roslyn Park, I know they've lost 2 games, but played a really big physical team in Rotherham that on their pitch, first game of the season, with the size of their pack, I think was always going to be a struggle for any team going up there. And I think against Richmond, I think they'd probably be pretty disappointed they didn't come away with the win. They dominated large parts about getting the scores they needed. So I'm expecting a real fast, furious contest. And we have to turn up mentally and physically. And if we can do that and implement the bits we did against Bishop Stortford and a few things we've worked on this week, then we've got an opportunity to get the result we want. And it would be great, after a poor performance against Richmond, if we can come put a performance against Park and come away with a victory, then we're in a pretty good place, because the league is such a competitive league. It's it's ridiculous, really. There's no easy games. Anyone can beat anyone, and if you're not on your game, you can slip up, and that's been shown for years. National One, but I think it'll be even more so this year. I think I don't see a weak team or a team that's going to struggle. I think you're going to have to perform every week. So which makes it hard for mentally for the players, because obviously they are part-time, they've got lives outside of rugby, and that sometimes frustrates me as well. Like tonight's session, I'll be honest, hasn't been the best session. Whatever reason, there was aspects tonight I wasn't happy with, and sometimes it happens like that with part-time sides, that they've got life outside of rugby and they're not maybe switched on, which will frustrate me. But that sometimes happens, and doesn't mean we won't put a good performance in Saturday, because it doesn't correlate. We had a good week up into Richmond and didn't perform. We did have a good week last week, we performed. So look, but it's 26 games, it's a big season, so it's hard to be on it every week. But I've said to the players, Tuesday, Thursday, you could be off it a bit, but on a Saturday, unfortunately you've got to be on it, because you can't afford not to be.
Are there any injuries or changes?
A couple of changes. Will Davis, unfortunately, he's got a new job, so he's working in a school, and this is one of his games where he's been working.
Okay.
So I think he misses 4 before Christmas. So Archie Holland comes in, James Cornish onto the bench, and then Slowick is back. He was being away, so he's back. He's on the bench, and Gilmore drops into the second team.
Any news on Marcus?
Marcus won't be available till Darlington. So next home game he should be available. And then Hoyt is on the bench for Josh Smart, because he's had a work all week away at work. So
which is the balance you've got with being
which we have. But this year we've got luckily we've got some depth, we've got competition. If it had been a couple of years ago, maybe Josh Smart would have still kept his place because we might not have had the depth. But this year we've got that depth, and Club 15 have had 2 really good wins, 10 points from 10.
Definitely.
Last 2 times I think they've played Bishop Stortford. At Bishop Stortford, we've lost by 50 points. So it was good to get the result there. And again, they could have won by more, but 2 from 2, and hopefully get 1 against Barnes. If they can go 3 from 3, they'll be top of their league. And if we can get a victory, then we'll be in a pretty good place as well.
Nice.
So big weekend. Looking forward to it. Obviously, London derby. I think it's bigger than the Richmond derby in the sense of what the players feel for each other. I think. And even when OEs was in this league, I still think the Roslyn Park one
was the big one.
Bigger for the players. And also Jack Daly will be running out for his
100th game.
100th game, which is a great achievement. I know Pam's done a piece on him, and I've spoken about him. I think he's had to put up with me for maybe 8 seasons, something like that. 2 at OAs, I think it was, when I played. So he would have got shouted and bossed at, and for some reason he came here to get shouted and bossed at by me. But been a great addition to Blackheath. He's been great over the years, and thoroughly deserves that 100th game. And it's nice. There's been a lot of boys have done that in my time here, and a few boys on 200 and 150. So
to get that consistency and
some of the boys that we signed for like this year, that's one of the things I talked to them about is you're the next batch of those 100 games. Like Finn Gilmore got his first game last week. He's the next batch of guys that I hope to get 100 games. 3, 4, 5 seasons. So it's a good thing to have, and I'm glad we've got so many Centurions in my time in the last 7 seasons.
Good stuff. Okay, thanks, Shanners, and good luck on Saturday.
Cool. Cheers.
Thanks for your time.